for being here. Welcome to Airdrie. If you haven't been here before, Airdrie is the fastest growing community in all of Canada most of the time. And with that, there's lots of growth challenges. And one of those is the most exciting thing to fund pipelines and wastewater, which is what we're here to talk about today. I won't say these things, but this is an important investment in Airdrie and in our province, and it's extremely important to address the housing crisis, because Airdrie is the solution to that problem. And I'm so pleased to be joined today by the Honourable Minister Devin Dreeshen and His Worship Mayor Peter Brown. I will let Mayor Brown introduce the council members here in attendance, but without further ado, we have some very exciting news, and I'll ask Minister Dreeshen to come to the podium.
Well, thank you so much, Angela. It's great to be here in Airdrie, and this is a project that Angela Pitt has been advocating and twisting my arm for many years. So I'm glad we can finally get this important announcement approved and finally announced. So obviously, as MLA Pitt pointed out, Airdrie is one of the fastest growing municipalities in Alberta. The city is approaching a population of nearly 90,000 people, and that's just 25% growth rate over the last 3 years, which is just really incredible. And obviously that growth is creating tremendous amount of demand for housing and commercial development. That's why the province of Alberta is providing $50 million to Airdrie to upgrade its wastewater system to meet current and future critical infrastructure needs. This pipeline is not going to have oil and gas, but it's going to have other liquids in it, which are also important to Albertans. And in total, this $114 million project will include a new 7-kilometer pipeline that will go towards Calgary, which treats, obviously, Airdrie's wastewater under a regional agreement that's been signed for many years. And the pipeline will support new serviced subdivisions, allowing for the addition of up to 45,000 new housing units, along with commercial and industrial growth. Now, Alberta's government is committed to helping communities which are facing growth challenges through cost-shared projects just like this one here today. Now that the funding is in place, engineers can begin the design work, and we should see shovels in the ground of this new pipeline next year, with the completion in 2027. So with that, it's a pleasure to ask Mayor Brown to provide some information about this project. And thank you, actually, Mayor Brown, for your advocacy on this work as well. I guess I have two arms, and they both are getting twisted by these two elected officials up here, but thank you so much.
Minister, thank you very much on behalf of the City of Airdrie. This is a wonderful, exciting, amazing day. We've been working toward this for many months, and we're just thrilled to be here to celebrate. So obviously it's a great day for Airdrie. It comes at a very pivotal time in our growth. We crossed the 90,000 barrier this year, which puts us even closer to the third largest municipality in Alberta. So we started advocating for this about 2 years ago, I think, and with Angela's help, we have been really fortunate to work with the great Minister Dreeshen, the Premier's office. Many hands have contributed to this, and I'm going to mention a few of them. So Minister Dreeshen, thank you for your persistence on this. There's many pressures, as you can imagine, the provincial government need to support. It's not just Airdrie asking for things, it's every other municipality in this province. So to make this commitment to us as a mid-sized community is very special, and we can't thank you enough for your advocacy. Angela, you've been a rock star as well. I really appreciate everything you do every day to drive not only this project, but schools and healthcare and everything else on the provincial side that make us who we are as a complete community. So thank you. I want to thank members of the Treasury Board. This is the best decision you'll make. I can tell you that. We're going to invest that money. It'll be very well spent. And I say that because we've partnered with private industry We came up with a solution. They've helped advocate for it. A number of the members are here today. I want to thank them sincerely. I also want to thank specifically Chris, Graham, and Joe. They've been really at the forefront from the private sector to help us get to where we needed to go. I don't want to not mention the City of Calgary, their administrative staff, also some of their elected officials, because we are connecting in an area that's not developed at the moment, so we had to cross some loopholes to get where we needed to go in order to create this opportunity. Rocky View County as well, and I want to thank members of my council who are here today, Councillor Al Jones, Councillor Tina Petro, Deputy Mayor Ron Chapman, Councillor Darrell Bellick. I'm not sure if I've missed anybody. Councillor Candace Colson sends her regrets, as well as Councillor Heather Spearman. I want to also have a huge thank you to our administration, starting at the top, Horacio, all the directorship. Lauren Stevens is retiring this year, and I want to do a special thank you to him and his team, Rick and everyone involved, Andrew, just for getting all the information. There was a lot of detailed information that needed to be provided very quickly in order to get this over the finish line, and I know a lot of people contributed to that. Specifically, Leona, Megan, our communications team. Again, without your persistence, creativity, we're probably not standing here, so really appreciate that. This was truly a coordinated effort between the provincial government, the municipality, private sector, and our own organization, and I can't show my appreciation enough. So this, as the Minister mentioned, it contributes to affordable housing, obviously providing more housing options. We already attract young families and great workers to our community. The projected economic return over the lifetime of this pipe is $45 billion. That's not just municipal, that's across the province. The opportunities are going to be great in our future. Efficient government spending using existing regional assets and partnerships to instead of building redundant facilities. City of Calgary, again, thank you for your regional cooperation. This will be the largest single investment from the province, specifically to the municipality of Airdrie. Again, we can't thank you enough. We're very much looking forward to seeing shovels in the ground, and Minister Dreeshen, you are invited to work on site if you wear your hard hat and all your safety gear. Okay, you're good with that? And with that, I'll just close out and say Airdrie is, in my mind, the greatest city in all of Alberta, no disrespect to anyone. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to start a family. It's a great place to start a business. Opportunities abound here. So if you're thinking about it, anyone who may be watching, Airdrie is the place to be, and it's only there because the province recognizes the importance in investing in infrastructure. Thank you very much.
We're now going to go into questions. If you could line up to the mic, state your name, your outlet. One question, one follow-up, please. Anyone in person want to do?
Yeah, I'll ask a question. I'm Todd from CTV. The province is pitching a reduction in interprovincial trade barriers, but we have been hearing from BC wine producers saying the Alberta government is making it harder to get into the market to sell to consumers here by hidden taxes, and the flat tax rate of more than $4 a liter. Why is it difficult for BC producers to get into Alberta?
Great question. And Alberta is leading Canada when it comes to interprovincial trade barriers. And we're looking at not just the direct interprovincial trade barriers, but indirect regulations and rules that obviously slow down commerce between provinces. So when it comes to the markup, I know Minister Nally's been working hard to make sure that we can find the right balance. Obviously, we want to be able to promote Alberta producers here in Alberta, but it's something that Minister Nally is currently working on for sure from Service Alberta's side.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, from a different reporter. Will your government still proceed with its bike lane ideas, seeing Ontario's court ruling today?
Actually, just came from Calgary talking to Mayor Gondek regarding bike lanes, and made it very clear that obviously the province of Alberta, we're fine with bike routes and people being able to use bicycles to get around our communities, which is fantastic, it's great. But when it comes to bike lanes that take over driving lanes, where you'll have a civil engineer that'll design a community to have a road network that can accommodate the current and future growth, and then a council coming in and removing that road and replacing it with a bike lane, how that obviously causes traffic congestion and chaos, and it slows down people's daily commutes and actually makes their lives worse. So that's something that I just met with Mayor Gondek today. Told her that obviously provincial legislation is something that we consider. And then obviously I'm meeting with Edmonton Council in the near future to talk about bike lanes up in Edmonton as well.
Thank you. Next question.
All right, Connor May with Air 106. I got a question for the mayor here. I know this was kind of your main advocacy point for a while here. I guess kind of what's next on the list for you as a city?
I don't want to spoil it. The minister's like right there. I mean, we're sitting right now in the 10-year capital plan somewhere around $1 billion worth of needs across the spectrum, and I think once we have an opportunity to sort of digest from what we're doing today, and we'll have more on that front. I know Horacio's over there shaking his head yes. There's a lot of key priorities coming up. As you know, we have a rec center being built just over here. We have a number of developments that are just getting started or we're almost complete, like Inspire or our new fire hall, etc. We're doing huge renovations to the twin arenas. You can see all the roadworks going on, of course, etc. But yeah, we're going to need another water line. Infrastructure is always an issue for us, but I think until we have a chance to really, as a team, sit down and determine what the next priority is, we're still trying to catch our breath from today's announcement. So that's what I can tell you so far. Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up?
I'd actually just say it was almost like watching the Stanley Cup, where the team wins the Stanley Cup, and the question is, what about next year? But no, I think I'd actually commend the mayor and all of Airdrie Council to actually prioritizing critical infrastructure. It's not flashy, it's not sexy, but it's important for the people that live here and just their everyday, daily convenience. So I think that's a really important, and I encourage other municipalities as well to focus on critical infrastructure that they need, and water is so important to be able to make sure that they prioritize those types of projects in the future.
Okay, we're going to go into the operator. Can we go through our first caller?
A question from Jeremy Thompson from CTV News Edmonton. The line is open.
Hi there, thank you. A question for Minister Dreeshen, with apologies to the mayor there. Again, this is talking about bike lanes here, Minister. I was just wondering what more you could say about, what was discussed with Mayor Gondek in that meeting today, as far as, what you were hoping to communicate as far as the provincial thinking on bike lanes and what you heard from the mayor about the city's priorities.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised that Mayor Gondek had the view that bike lanes are temporary, and a commitment to working with our provincial capital plan as well as municipal capital plans in the future for any new type of infrastructure spending. I mentioned the $700 million that's going into adding more lanes onto the Deerfoot in Calgary, and how that's going to reduce people's daily commutes by about 20%. And obviously the province is doing that to make life better for folks in Calgary, but if you have a municipal council that is taking away driving lanes, that's actually increasing people's daily commutes, or emergency vehicles or delivery vehicles from being able to just do what they do, that's obviously a problem. So there was a commitment from Mayor Gondek to be able to work more collaboratively with the province to make sure that bike routes, where they're independent from any road network, so folks can be able to get around their communities is fantastic, is great. But when you have bike lanes that are cannibalizing and taking over bike lanes, that's obviously a problem, and that affects almost 98% of commuters in Calgary and Edmonton.
Follow-up?
Yeah, just as a follow-up, of course, I'm reporting in Edmonton here, so it's more of an Edmonton-centric question. Obviously the city of Edmonton is going ahead with its bike network expansion. It's kind of full steam ahead on building this construction into the next foreseeable future here. I believe you had maybe some projects in Edmonton sort of on your radar that might, be worth having a second look at, potentially intervening in. I guess, what is your how has your thinking evolved in Edmonton as far as, any plans to change how it builds its bike network or intervening in any specific project?
So obviously we hope that both Edmonton and Calgary, their city councils, will understand that bike lanes should not take over driving lanes, and we'll see obviously we have seen in Ontario the provincial government introduce legislation to be able to have more of an influence over bike lanes and the design and the location of them, and even removing them from areas that cause traffic congestion or even diversion issues of traffic going in other areas. So that's something that obviously we don't want to have to go down that route, but we'll see if we have to. But right now we're having these conversations with both Edmonton and Calgary and identifying bike lanes that obviously don't make sense. And I was actually reassured by Mayor Gondek when she said that bike lanes are temporary. And I said, well, they're not cast in stone. And she said, well, even though the concrete barrier may be made out of stone, they can obviously be removed. So I think that commitment by Calgary, at least for right now, is a step in the right direction for sure.
Operator, can you put on our next caller?
Jack Farrell from Canadian Press, your line is open.
Hi, Minister. More bike lane questions for you. So you got asked this, but I didn't really catch your answer. So a judge in Ontario struck down parts of Ontario's law. It found them unconstitutional, that they violated charter rights, and quote here, removal of the target bike lanes will put people at increased risk of harm and death, which engages the right to life and security of the person. So I guess is Alberta still looking to go down that path after seeing that ruling, or do you think the result would be different here if it got challenged in court? Like, I'm a bit confused where you stand there.
So it's my understanding that the Ford government's actually planning to appeal that decision. But obviously, as I mentioned, going second as a province is helpful, because you can look at pieces of legislation that have been introduced in the past and what's the good and bad of them. So that's something that seeing and obviously watching the Ontario case is great. But I just say, again, bike routes and folks to be able to bicycle around Edmonton and Calgary and any community in the province of Alberta is fantastic. But they should not come at the expense of driving lanes, where you've had a civil engineer, in some cases many decades ago, design a road network to accommodate vehicle traffic, and then obviously population grows, and then a city council to then arbitrarily reduce that and take that away. That's obviously not proper or smart city planning, and obviously that's something that with our provincial road network connects into municipal road networks. Everybody lives in the province of Alberta is Albertans. We want to make sure that their quality of life gets better, not worse.
Follow up?
Yeah, I'm going to sneak two in here. One, forgive my ignorance, but are there bike lanes on the Deerfoot? And the second part of there, you said that 98% of commuters in Edmonton and Calgary are affected by bike lanes. Can you explain that number a bit? Like, is it truly just like they drive along bike lanes, or they have to cross a bike lane, or how do you arrive at 98%? Like, how does that work?
Sure, the 98% is, I think, the latest stats that we heard from Calgary is 2% actually of commuters, daily commuters, use bike lanes. 98% obviously using driving lanes. So that's that 98 to 2 comparison. So obviously we want to make sure that the 98, or the vast majority of people using the road network, can be able to commute in an efficient manner. And when it comes to the Deerfoot, the $700 million that we put into the Deerfoot is to add driving lanes. But the province did up in Edmonton, to Williker, as a new road going into the southwest side of Edmonton. They're actually designed a designated bike route towards that community over the Anthony Henday. So obviously it's not taking over a driving lane, but actually accommodating for a bike path or a bike route that doesn't take away driving lanes and obviously creates traffic congestion.
Thank you, Jack. Operator, can you put through our next caller?
Tim Brooke from CTV News, your line is open.
Hey, you got me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, you've mentioned this a number of times now that the bike lanes have disrupted driving lanes. I'm just hoping a simple question, simple answer here. Can you point to one example in Calgary of this being the case?
There's lots. Actually, there was a demonstration outside. They had signs that were listing the problems of certain areas where you'd have traffic that had 2 lanes, but then obviously a bike lane was just recently put in, where the rush hour traffic is bumper to bumper and barely moving. And they obviously had time. I think it was 45 minutes of extra commute just to go through a small stretch of Calgary. And there was one cyclist that passed a line of vehicles. So there's numerous cases in both Edmonton and Calgary. And obviously we asked for more detailed information from Calgary on what is the ridership numbers of certain bike lanes, what's that diversion effect of having a bike lane where a road is now constricted, and traffic obviously doesn't disappear, it just finds another path like water, which is a water announcement. And then obviously to get that data from the City of Calgary is what we've asked for. So there's still more to come in identifying some of the more problematic areas.
Follow up?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that answer before I go into my follow-up. So, I mean, you gave some, anecdotal evidence from Craig Chandler and co. who were protesting outside of City Hall. But again, can you just name maybe one road, one intersection where traffic is bad in the city? So just one there. And then my follow-up question would be, some numbers show that roughly 500,000 Calgarians bike. We don't have data on how many utilize those bike lanes, but what's your message to Calgary bikers who say you're just essentially using conservative talking points to target them?
I think it's 8th that is the most problematic one, kind of the downtown core of Calgary. But I don't think bike lanes is a conservative versus socialist argument. I think most people want to make sure that their daily commute, whether they're going to work or going to a rec center or going to a soccer practice, that they can have vehicle traffic that actually accommodates them in a reasonable manner. I mean, we're out here in a new suburb here in Airdrie, where the designers obviously designed this road network in a way that would accommodate the amount of people that live out here. So if council, not saying this council would, but if a future Airdrie council were to restrict these existing these existing driving lanes today, you're obviously going to affect everybody that lives out in this community in the future. So I think it's quite common sense that, and it's not an ideological thing, where you would have a road network that is designed to accommodate a certain amount of people, that when you cut that in half or you reduce it, you're obviously going to increase car and traffic congestion.
Operator, can you put in our next caller?
Great. Church from CBC Radio Calgary. Your line is open.
My question's for Mayor Brown, if we could, and it's not on bike lanes. Mayor, can you give me a sense of how Airdrie would cope with its expansion needs and desires if it didn't have this $50 million investment?
Oh, you'd have to service it mostly with debt, unless there was other granting opportunities through the federal government. So it's significant, and we've been able to now redirect that $50 million into other key priorities that we were going to service either through debt or other areas or other arrangements financially, I guess. But no, it would have been service or debt, and a commitment that the city and their taxpayers would have had to have a burden for many, many years. So we're going to repurpose those funds. We haven't, again, that'll be decided by our administration recommendations to our council.
Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, my follow-up would be along that line. It's a $114 million project. Is there other levels of government that are going to be participating in this? And does this, without this money, would there have been a restriction to how Airdrie could grow?
Well, no, we were going full steam ahead. Nothing has changed. The design started this year. We need this investment, so no on that front. And yes, we've applied for monies from the federal government, but I guess I'd look to Leona to see when. Nothing come back yet, so we're waiting to see on that front.
Operator, do we have anyone else on the line?
You don't have any questions as of now.
Thank you, everyone.
I was going to take a bike lane question here, but no? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming and being part of this great celebration. Thank you, Miss.